Hi, this is Pomegranate. I wanted to introduce myself if you don't know who I am. I'm Pomegranate Doyle. I have a podcast called Ask Pomegranate. And on that, I answer questions about life, death, and beyond. My podcast is about mystery and how to access it and what to do with the information you get. It's about magic. If you have been interested in magic and wanted to delve into it and you don't know why, I'm going to create a little 10-minute uh, class for you, a mini class on how to do the magic without messing yourself up. And you can also listen to my podcast at askpomegranate.com. There's many more podcasts there and some videos here, which you can access, which are little free classes on basic stuff like calming yourself down and grounding and things like that. So, if you're a beginner, which at this point this class might be good for you, if you're practicing something else like Druidism or shamanism or anything along those lines, I recognize shamanism is a controversial word. Everybody deal with that separately somewhere else. That's a good thing to talk about. Let's talk about those things, but not right here. What we're going to talk about here is the question of I'm in a human body, and yet I feel and know things beyond the human body. And I want to delve into those things. So you might be psychic, or you might feel that you're psychic. I'm psychic, and I've been psychic my whole life. And therefore, I recognize things that others don't. And it's interesting to me and fascinating to me to find out as a child that people weren't seeing what I was seeing. People weren't people were saying things that didn't make sense. And so I had to find out for myself how to manage being very sensitive. And for me, that led to witchcraft. That's why I'm a witch. You don't have to be a witch to watch this show, but that's where I trained and learned my skills as a psychic and having coming up with a practice. The other very formative and important magical practice that I do is I practice the 12 steps. The 12 steps are a combination of stoicism and magic. And when I say magic, I mean, at this point, I'll give you a more thorough definition later, but magic is delving into the mystery of life through your senses and trying to understand what is going on. A lot of science begins with intuition. A lot of science is an inquiry into the mystery. Magic is an inquiry into the mystery. They're two different ways. Both of them need to be repeatable. So that's the premise of my little mini show. They're about 10 minutes long. If you want to listen to long, lovely interviews with people or a nice long hour-long podcast, and mostly I've now are completely free of any advertisement at this point, the podcast, because I don't like getting interrupted when I listen to podcasts. So my podcasts are there. AskPomegranate.com. That's it. So today's episode about well, it's not about witchcraft because it's about magic. So it's accessible by anybody who's doing it. You don't have to follow my religion. I'm like also Catholic. I got no excuses for that except for I was raised in it. And the Dalai Lama says don't reject the religion you were born into because they're all accessible to the same magic. My mother also said that. She said that on her deathbed to me. Yeah, she did. She, after devoting her life to Catholicism, she goes, it's all the same thing. Doesn't matter how you get there. I was like, okay, Ma, I kind of knew that about you because you were so accepting of me and my weirdness. Today's topic is how to start. And we need to start by claiming our own authority. And when we can learn to claim our authority, we then have the authority to tap into the massive power of the earth and the universe as it spirals around. It's called the spiral dance. This universe, everybody talks about the human universe, and lately we've been replacing the word with God, with the universe, or goddess with universe. That's fine. That's great. Use the universe. The universe is a little anonymous and doesn't really care about our puny little bodies and puny little lives, but it's a good word because you're saying everything that's known and unknown to me wants this. I think that's what we really mean when we say the universe doesn't want me to do that job. I don't know if the universe cares, but everything that's known and unknown does take an interest in you. So we begin with finding our authority. And how do we find our authority? Because when we have claimed our authority, we get to tap into that power and let that power, well, notice because it's always flowing in and out of you like air, it's always floating in and out of you. So we claim our authority by noticing that this is really a lot of it is about first noticing. We notice that we have been born. Notice that you're born. Giving you a second to do that. And in fact, you were born into a specific creature, our species. We talk about the world a lot. Well, the world is terrible. The world is wonderful. The world is this. The world is that. Mostly when we're talking about the world, what we mean is primates. This primate here, this species of the great ape that is Homo sapien, is what we're talking about. We're like, oh, but we should really use neuro-linguistically, in other words, the way our brain thinks about words and the way words influence us is important. We should really say, our species seems to be struggling, but it also seems to be blossoming. That's more accurate. And it's more specific and it's more handleable. We can do it. So notice your species and notice that you are a great ape and there's a bunch of stuff that comes along with that. We'll talk about that as the classes go by. And what I want you to understand is you have the authority of your birth. If you're interested in tarot, this is the birth card is the Magi or the Magician card. That card shows the empowerment of birth. When you come into a Homo sapien body, it's like, whoa, I got birthrights. I come here, I get air in my lungs. That's one of the first things that happens when you arrive on the planet. When you're in your mama's belly, you're not on the planet yet. When you come out, you take a breath, you arrive. You can't really arrive until that breath comes into your body. You're a person, you're real, but you're mostly on the other side. Take a breath, birthright. You come into these bones and this flesh, that's the earth, birthright. Your heart pumps according to that electrical impulse, birthright. So you have the birthright, you have the blood that flows through your body, which is like the blood that, like the salination of the ocean, is literally the ocean walking around. You have all of these birthrights, and these birthrights are just here. They're like gifts. Here you go. Look at these gifts, and you get to claim them, and then you get to use them. And so to begin with, we accept our empowerment and our gifts. We acknowledge we are born, and that being born is a whole bunch of gifts. It's also a whole bunch of challenges because unlike other species, because of our giant cranium, it's real hard to get born, and it's getting harder. We are growing a cranium which has parts that emote and parts that think. And that is one of the first things that happen is we get born, claim our power, claim our gifts, but also be given enormous challenges. Being born itself, being squeezed and having your head collapse, or even certainly for your mother, you have gone through. It's been announced to you. Hi, welcome to planet Earth. Here's lots of things. This is going to be hard. Get ready. And in that moment, not when you're first born with a brain, but when you come to realize I'm born, I have empowerment, I have gifts, I have challenges, that's an empowering statement. So, why is that important? Why is saying I am born, therefore I have authority, I have gifts, therefore I have power, I have challenges, therefore I have a road ahead. Why is that important? Because one of the first things we need to learn when we start practicing magic is we have to learn to stay in that empowered place. And our brain likes to go to a different place. And culturally, we're really supporting that different place right now. And the place that our brain likes to go that blocks us from accepting our power, our gifts, and our challenges is falling out of that empowerment and into the triangle of victimhood. For me. Then we have villain. Why am I a victim? Well, there must be a villain. Let me find the villain. Maybe you think you're the villain. You're always saying mean things to yourself. And the third part of that triangle, victim, villain, hero. I will rescue you. I will rescue you. I need a rescuer. That is unfortunately a thing our brain does. I mean, eventually, it's fine. It does it. It's fine that it does it. But it's a thing that we fall into, and we encourage to fall into, especially as children. And now everybody's falling into it as a way to live, which is telling their victim stories and sticking to their victim stories and coming from that place. And that victim story, or being the villain, or being cast as the villain, or casting yourself as a hero, or needing a hero, being so helpless you can't get anywhere, that is a disempowering triangle. And we've all done it. I've been told I'm a villain many times. I am desperately needing to be the hero, like to the point of obnoxiousness most times, and it's really a bad habit. That's the one I like to fall into, is I am a hero. What do you need? I shall save you. And interestingly enough, playing any one of those roles will get you you'll cast yourself in all three, and you'll cast others. So I invite you in this moment, before I give you a little trick to get out of it, I want to invite you to just notice that pattern for yourself, because you can't actually practice magic from that place. What you can do is practice magical superstition. You can magically speculate and be magically superstitious. And that is the first pitfall I want to tell you about. The pitfall of staying in the victim, villain, hero mold. And that's what our brain does. Our brain wants us to be there. One of the things it wants. And we need to understand, from there, you will only practice superstitious magic. It won't be beneficial to you or anybody else. You'll start getting paranoid. A lot of things that are cast as an empowerment magic are actually just that superstitious thing. We all do it on all cultures. My culture that I get the authority from is Irish magic, and I will be teaching you Irish magic, and I encourage you to find your own ancestry. Later we'll do that. But also notice that ancestry, what I'm teaching you is available to you, because I'm here and I'm giving it to you. My ancestors have told me many, many years ago, 35 years ago, go ahead and teach this stuff. I was like, Irene, here I come and teach it. So now, where am I at? Okay. So I want you to just take a minute and breathe. We always breathe. Start with breathing. Breathing is the first thing we do when we arrive. Now breathe and just notice, in what way do you cast yourself as a villain? How do you beat yourself up? Don't go too deep. Don't go with the worst thing. Just notice, oh, I'm hard on myself about being late, or I don't eat right, or my body's wrong. This is one way we're really trying to do this. Now, is there someone you cast as a villain? And just notice them. You might want to write this down. This is the thing that makes me a villain. This is the person I cast as a villain. I'm not saying they didn't do bad things to you. They might have. They might have. But we are going to attempt to cast them as just another person doing the best they can. But before you do that, just let yourself think about that person. All right, you're casting them as a villain. Immediately, the second you cast someone as a villain, the problem with that is you are immediately taking on the mantle of a victim. Being a victim is disempowering and leads you down a path where your power comes out in probably harmful to yourself and harmful to others way. Okay? And here comes my big problem, which is I love to cast myself as the hero. What can I do for you? How can I fix it? And I'll like take care of everybody else and not do my own stuff. This is how I managed to put off making as much art as I wanted to in life. It's I cast myself as a hero. After I do this, I will go make art. No, I'm here to make art. Okay. So are you wanting to be the hero? We're all wanting to be the hero. We're all fall into the category of feeling bad. So is this bad? Should you not do it? Are you a bad person because you fall into this? No, it's part of what your brain does. And in order to shift ourselves out of it, we have to do a couple of things. One is we get to feel upset about stuff that someone did that we didn't like. I don't know why you think that way about yourself or the other person. Are you biased? Probably. Did they do a bad thing? Probably. Are you jealous? Are you wanting to make a relationship with them that is more positive? Well, and it didn't happen, and so you feel sad. I don't know what happened, but just let yourself feel sad. Mostly people feel sad or angry or disgusted or shocked. You probably won't feel happy at this moment. Feel some of those feelings and just allow yourself to feel it and go, okay, that happened and I didn't like it. Or you can say, that sounds terrible. And give yourself 2 minutes to feel that. Hormonally, Jill Taylor, the doctor, the neuroscience says you only need 90 seconds. I gave it 2 minutes in my practice. I found that. Give yourself that 2 minutes so that you can have the hormonal ride of the emotion. Notice it go through your body. And at the end of the 2 minutes, take a deep breath in and go, okay, that's what happened. And now from this place, once you've had your feeling, know that you notice that you didn't like it. Decide, what do I need? Without casting anybody as a villain or anybody as a hero, what do I need? And how can I claim the fact that right now I am in a body? That's a gift. I'm breathing. That's a gift. And I have water moving through my system beautifully. And I got that fire inside me. I've got all that now. What challenge does this mean I face? Take that emotion, turn it into a little challenge. One that you can do today. Just do that little challenge today. What little challenge comes out of that feeling? Is it, I need to move away from this person? I need to go focus on something completely different. I'm too worried about people and their problems. That's me. Whatever it is. What little challenge can I take on today? Because every day, our birthright is a challenge. And facing our challenges a little bit at a time, not too big, really begins to get that, everybody's just doing the best they can, including me. I'm just doing the best I can. You're just doing the best you can. If you do magic out of that place of empowerment, this is my gift, this is my challenge, then you're going to be doing the best you can. No matter what you do, you're doing the best you can. And so is everybody. All the Homo sapiens are doing the best they can. From that place, we're empowered to face those challenges and make the changes that we want. So we begin, and this is a form of grounding. I always have a little video on how to actually ground with breath, but this is a form of grounding and centering. we accept our gifts, we accept our challenges, we know we are empowered. And that's how we begin. And that's also what we always return to. Your brain is going to want to get lost in the triangle of hero, victim, villain. And we need to recognize it and pop our ass out of it. Signs will be you feel paranoid. You're talking about others negatively all the time, or you're talking about yourself negatively all the time. Okay. So that's today's little mini class. I hope I made it under 10 minutes. I don't know if I did. Oh, I didn't. 20 minutes. And it was wonderful for you to come here. I will start giving warnings about this so you can ask questions while I speak, if I can read the questions while I speak. But today, you were with Pomegranate of Ask Pomegranate. Check out my website, askpomegranate.com. I think we're supposed to ask you to subscribe because that helps. I don't know why. And I have a Patreon. I'll tell you about that another time. Okay. Thank you. Have a fantastic, empowered day.